Poštovani predsjedniče Skupštine autonomne pokrajine Vojvodine, gospodine Pastor, predsjedniče Privredne komore Vojvodine, gospodine Vučureviću, gospodine Čoban, vaša ekscelencijo, gospodine Belhaž, predstavnici ambasada, gospodine Angelov, poštovani gledalci koji ovaj događaj pratite preko našeg YouTube kanala. Dobar dan, hvala i vama što pratite ovaj događaj online, hvala i vama, poštovana gospodo, što ste danas sa nama ovde u sali. Treću godinu za redom srećemo se na ovom događaju koji Privredna komora Vojvodina organizuje zajedno sa Color Media Communication kompanijom. I prošle godine koju je obeležila pandemija izazvana COVID-19 razgovarali smo u online formatu, danas malo drugačije u hibridnom formatu, dakle prisutni smo i ovde u sali, imamo i publiku koja nas prati preko YouTube kanala. Početak godine, odnosno prvi kvartal ove godine, kao što smo već imali priliku da čujemo, pokazuje oporavak privrede i naše ekonomije. Kako funkcionišemo godinu dana posle? Zamolit ću na samom početku predsjednika Skupštine autonomne pokrajine Vojvodine da nam se obrati. Gospodin Ištvan Pastor, izvolite.
Dobar dan, želim dame i gospodo. Prije svega bih želeo da se zahvalim na mogućnosti da i ove godine budem učesnik ovog panela, odnosno ove konferencije. Ušli smo sada u hibridni režim. Valjda izlazimo iz neuobičajenog režima i nadam se da je ovo jedna od zadnjih konferencija koju ovako držimo i da ćemo uskoro biti u situaciji da se vratimo u normalu. Sve ovo što ovih nedelja, ovih meseci radimo jeste usmereno na to da se sačuvamo od negativnih posljedica COVID-a, odnosno da minimalizujemo te negativne posljedice. I tu smo se bili fokusirali na u suštini dve oblasti. Jedna je oblast zdravstva, odnosno očuvanje zdravlja ljudi s jedne strane, s druge strane očuvanje privrede i minimalizovanje negativnih posljedica u odnosu na privredne tokove. Ako govorimo o periodu sa nazivom, odnosno na temu godinu dana kasnije, onda mislim da u odnosu na ove dve teme svakako čovjek treba da izvuče zaključke. U odnosu na tu prvu temu vezanu za očuvanje zdravlja ljudi, ja mislim da je srpska država, unutar toga autonomna pokrajina Vojvodina, vlada, zdravstveni sistem autonomne pokrajine Vojvodine pokazao izvanrednu zrelost, ozbiljnost i odgovornost da se preduzmu brzo, efikasno sve one mere koje su neophodne da se sačuvaju ljudi. Mislim da je ovih godinu dana pokazalo da imamo nepravičnu sliku o sopstvenom zdravstvu u odnosu na ono što je zdravstvo pokazalo. Da smo spremni da se brzo reorganizujemo, da imamo dobru medicinsku ekipu, imamo jedan efikasan sistem i to je sigurno jedna velika satisfakcija i jedan značajan zaključak. U tom suzbijanju negativnih posljedica mislim da je čitav ovaj prostor bio prostor gde se iskazala solidarnost i saradnja. To mislim da je bitno i sa aspekta budućnosti koje je mogao drugome pomoći, taj je pomagao, pa kad je došao u situaciju da je iz pozicije pomognutog mogao da tu pomoć prosledi dalje, onda je svako to na svoj način činio i mislim da sa pravom možemo da budemo ponosni na ono kako smo se mi kao država i unutar toga od lokalne samouprave pa prema gore ponašali. Što se tiče ove druge oblasti vezane za očuvanje kondicije privrede, mislim da su mere republičke vlade i svih ostalih donosilaca odluka bile efikasne, ta sredstva koja je država uložila u očuvanje kondicije, u očuvanje radnih mesta, su doneli rezultate i to se danas praktično može videti i ja bi ovu tvrdnju želeo da dokažem sa nekoliko podataka. Najbolje o ovakvoj generalnoj tvrdnji govore podaci koji su egzaktni. Pre svega bih želeo da kažem da ću se fokusirati na učinak vojvođanske privrede, ali učinak vojvođanske privrede je deo nekog šireg konteksta. Taj širi kontekst je ukupni privredni potencijal, odnosno učinak srpske privrede. Upoređujući prvi kvartal ove godine sa prvim kvartalom prošle godine, kada još nije bilo negativnih posljedica COVID-a, je porast od 1,7% u ovom kvartalu, odnosno u prvom kvartalu ove godine, što mislim da je izvanredno dobar rezultat. Ako gledamo ukupan učinak vojvođanske privrede unutar ovog ambijenta, onda moram da kažem da su ovde kod nas podaci mnogo ohrabrujući i bolji. Iako su u protekloj čitavoj godini vojvođanski privredni pokazatelji bili daleko iznad onih koji su bili na državnom nivou. Što se tiče ovih aktuelnih podataka, učinak industrije autonomne pokrajine Vojvodine je za 8,3% veći u odnosu na prva 4 meseca prošle godine. Spoljna trgovina isto tako pokazala izvanredan rast, izvoz na visinu od 28,3%, a uvoz na visini od 9,3%. Ovde posebnu ulogu ima agrar, o kome će se verovatno još danas posebno govoriti. Mislim da u odnosu na ukupan učinak vojvođanske privrede agrar u prošloj godini imao izvanredno dobar pozitivan uticaj. Takođe je veoma značajno da je trgovina na malo u prva 4 meseca ove godine u odnosu na prva 4 meseca prošle godine pokazao rast od 13,1%. To je jako važno zbog toga što je to bio praktično motor proizvodnje odnosno ukupnog privrednog učinka. Što se tiče turizma, turizam pokazuje prve znake oživljavanja. Dolasci su povećani za blizu 13%, a noćenje za blizu 19% u prva 4 meseca ove godine u odnosu na prva 4 meseca prošle godine. Zarade su isto tako rasle za 9% u odnosu na u odnosu na mart mesec prošle godine, upoređujući mart mesec ove godine. Sve ukupno mislim da možemo biti zadovoljni sa učinkom vojvođanske privrede. Možemo da kažemo da je privreda danas u relativno dobroj kondiciji. Ako uzmemo u obzir da su u toku ili pred započinjanje veliki investicioni, pre svega infrastrukturni projekti, onda mislim da je to ohrabrujuće. Ono što vidimo da je stalno interesovanje za privrednu aktivnost, za ulaganje u Srbiji, odnosno pre svega u Vojvodini, što isto tako ohrabruje. A ono što mislim da ako govorimo na ovoj konferenciji moramo da kažemo i kako vidimo sopstvenu poziciju i sopstveni zadatak, mislim da je veoma bilo dragoceno i značajno što je komora držala kontakte sa svim svojim partnerima i u prethodnih godinu dana, bez obzira na COVID. Mislim da je jako važno da nakon, odnosno u fazi izlaska iz ove situacije, te susrete, te kontakte osnažimo, da tražimo sve mogućnosti za ubrzano vraćanje u normalan kolosek kontakata, komunikacije, na taj način da pomognemo praktično oživljavanje privrede. U tom smislu doživljavam i ovu mogućnost i hvala još jednom na pozivu.
Hvala, gospodine Pastor. A u proteklih godinu dana Privredna komora Vojvodine je bila je aktivna. Imali smo preko 60 online konferencija. Bili smo na usluzi privredi i privrednicima, trudeći se da doprinesemo stvaranju što boljeg privrednog ambijenta. Šta rezultati pokazuju danas, čućemo od predsjednika Privredne komore Vojvodine, gospodina Boška Vučurevića. Izvolite, predsjedniče.
Zahvaljujem, Kristina. Uvaženi dame i gospodo, uvaženi gospodine Pastor, gospodine Čoban, vaše ekscelencije, dragi prijatelji, predsjednici i direktori privrednih komora širom Evrope, cenjeni potrošači i učesnici današnje konferencije, poštovani predstavnici medija. Veliko mi je zadovoljstvo da mogu da vas pozdravim u svoje lično ime, u ime Privredne komore Vojvodine, koja je inicirala i organizovala današnju konferenciju godinu dana kasnije Perspektive privrede Vojvodine, zajedno sa našim partnerom, kompanijom Color Media Communication. Prošlo je tačno godinu dana od naše prve konferencije organizovane u online formatu na ovom istom mestu. Tad smo se nadali da ćemo uskoro krizu izazvanu dobro poznatim virusom ostaviti za nama, ali ispostavilo se da smo sve ovo vreme morali funkcionisati u istim ili sličnim okolnostima. Mislim da ćemo i u narednom periodu biti primorani da, poštujući nove standarde posle krize ovakvih razmera, profilišemo i koristimo savremenu tehnologiju koja omogućava brzu, direktnu komunikaciju sa velikim brojem učesnika na globalnom nivou. Naravno, svi se nadamo i željno očekujemo vreme kada će COVID pandemija ostati za nama. U međuvremenu Privredna komora Vojvodine se u potpunosti prilagodila novonastaloj situaciji. Uložili smo u naše tehničke resurse, osposobili naše prostore novim elektronskim platformama i pružili našim privrednicima mogućnost za neometan nastavak poslovanja, pogotovo u međunarodnim okvirima. Protekli godinu dana održali smo, kako je rečeno, već 60-ak online skupova i konferencije u raznim formatima. Prvi put u istoriji Privredna komora Vojvodine potpisala i online sporazum o saradnji sa regionom Samara u Ruskoj federaciji. Održali smo i treći regionalni poslovni forum u novembru mesecu sa rekordnim brojem učesnika. Do sada preko 230 kompanija iz skoro 30 zemalja je uzelo učešće na forumu i održalo svoje bilateralne sastanke. Time hoću da kažem da, i što je predsjednik isto rekao, da mi se trudimo da očuvamo te kontakte, a tako su i drugi isto razmišljali i da čekamo moment kada ćemo se početi da se skupljamo u onim formatima u kojima smo to pre ove pandemije i radili. Savremeni privredni procesi su više nego dinamični, to je pokazala i COVID kriza, odnosno pokazala se da takav jedan proces teško se može zaustaviti. U sve negativne trendove izazvane privrednim zastojem u toku prošle godine moramo biti optimisti i posmatrati sve aspekte krize, izvući benefite iz nje na pravi način, pokušati da eliminišemo sve njene negativne posledice. Namera naše konferencije je da se na pravi način pokušamo da sagledamo realne posledice pandemije COVID-19, iniciramo dalje održive mere u cilju prevazilaženja negativnih ekonomskih i svih ostalih posledica po naše ekonomije i društvo. Smatramo da su u tom cilju sva iskustva veoma dragocena, te smo za naš prvi panel pozvali ambasadore nekoliko evropskih i afričkih zemalja, kako bi zajedno podelili njihova iskustva sa našim i svi zajedno zaključili kako najefikasnije prevazići ekonomske posledice ove pandemije. Iskustva zemalja u regionu i način funkcionisanja privrednih komora u novonastalim uslovima podelit će se nama i predstavnici i direktori evropskih privrednih komora sa kojim Privredna komora Vojvodine ima potpisane sporazume o saradnji i mnogobrojne zajedničke aktivnosti. To će biti okvirna tema drugog našeg panela i neprocenjiva je uloga privrednih komora u ponovnom uspostavljanju, obnavljanju spoljno-trgovinske i svake druge saradnje među regionima, a interregionalna saradnja je ključni faktor privrednog razvoja. Pristižu nam statistički podaci o ekonomskoj aktivnosti tokom i ja ne bih sada ponavljao, pošto je predsjednik ih rekao, manje više to je to, ja možda imam malo nekih detalja, ali i jako bitno istaći industrijsku proizvodnju i poređenje, znači ono je jako bitno, se sada ima nekih komentara da se poredi sa mesecima gde smo bili zatvoreni i tako dalje, ne. radi se o poređenju sa periodom kada je privreda Republike Srbije, odnosno i samim tim i privreda autonomne pokrajine Vojvodine, bila na jednom visokom nivou i rastu koji do tada nije bio od 5,5%. Prema tome, kada se uporedi takvi periodi sa današnjim, znači realno poređenje, imamo rast od 1,7 BDP-a u odnosu na taj rast od 5,5% i industrijska proizvodnja koja je na nivou, na republičkom nivou, na rastu od 10%, to su stvarno izvanredni rezultati. I ono što je imanentno za privredu autonomne pokrajine Vojvodine, to je poljoprivreda koju mi posebno obrađujemo i poljoprivreda, mogu vam reći, u ova prva 4 meseca daje izvanredne rezultate, a trendovi su takvi da će se sigurno nastaviti dalje i ono što nam stručnjaci predviđaju da će i ova sezona biti izuzetno kvalitetna i da će prinosi biti na jednom visokom nivou i ja bih malo i tu apostrofirao deo oko poljoprivredne proizvodnje, odnosno spoljno-trgovinske robne razmene AP Vojvodine. Mogu da kažem da je ukupna spoljno-trgovinska razmena na nivou negde oko €1.000.000.000, što je veće za 22% odnosu na prošlu godinu, jer tako izvoz je povećan, govorimo o agraru, za skoro 28%. Ono što je značajno da je izvoz, vrednost izvoza je negde gotovo 700 miliona evra za prva 4 meseca i gde imamo suficit otprilike na nivou od 400 miliona u odnosu na uvoz. Ono što bih hteo da još tu apostrofiram, da kažem da je, pošto je vojvođanska privreda gotovo u agraru izvozno orijentisana, da je gotovo 665, da kažem, vrsta agrarnih proizvoda je izvezeno i to u 95 različitih zemalja. Tu bih apostrofirao normalno da je to kukuruz kao naš strateški izvozni proizvod, osim semenskog, je li tako, on je na nivou od 170 miliona evra za prva 4 meseca, što je povećanje od gotovo 50% u odnosu na period prošle godine. Zatim tu je pšenica koja se izuzetno oporavlja izvoz na nivou od 55 miliona, što je 2,5 puta, evra govorim, 2,5 puta veća nego prošle godine u istom periodu. Zatim tu je i šećer, ulje, koji su takođe za veliki procenti povećanja u odnosu na prošlu godinu. Ono što me raduje takođe da se i, bez obzira što uvek gledamo izvoz, da se i uvoz oporavlja, tako da potrošnja, znači koja pokazuje da je 13% veća u odnosu na prošlu godinu, takođe sve su ovo parametri i u ekonomiji, sve to mora da bude povezano. Zato bih i polako završavam i da kažem da je međuregionalno povezivanje jedan od ključnih faktora našeg održivog i privrednog razvoja, a Privredna komora svakako zauzima jednu od najbitnijih uloga u regionalnoj saradnji. Ako smo u proteklih godina dana nešto mogli da zaključimo i iz toga izvučemo neku pouku, to je svakako značaj regija, njihovog privrednog razvoja i međuregionalnog povezivanja. Naš moto ostaje, kako sam i rekao u izjavi, snažan i razvijen region, snažna i razvijena država. To ime vas pozdravljam. Hvala.
Hvala predsjedniče na ovom uvodnom izlaganju, a u protekloj godini, kao što smo već više puta čuli, koja je zaista na svaki način sprečila normalne tokove života i ograničavala u mnogome i kretanje, pa samim tim bitno je uticala na privredu, veoma je bilo važno da se ipak razgovara. Online konferencije su postale uobičajene i svi smo im se na neki način i prilagodili. Kompanija Color Media Communication organizovala je niz takvih konferencija o raznim temama, pa predsjednika ove kompanije pitam kakvo je vaše iskustvo posle godinu dana i niza tih konferencija i raznih tema o kojima ste razgovarali. Dakle, kakvo je vaše iskustvo danas i da li smo spremni da nastavimo dalje normalno? Izvolite.
Hvala. Poštovani gospodine Pastor, poštovani gospodine Vučureviću, vaša ekscelencija ambasadori, poštovani predstavnici privrednih komora koji ste sa nama online, drage kolege iz medija, ponovit ću deo onoga što sam rekao u uvodnom delu dok još nismo bili online. Protekli godinu dana u mom slučaju zaista je bila, kako je koleginica malo čas rekla, kombinacija online života i online komunikacije koju smo usvojili radeći ove konferencije. Ja mislim sada već, evo tu su koleginice Maja i Ivana iz organizacije, već mislim neki 50-ak online konferencija smo uradili od početka pandemije do sada, ali i nekog stvarnog života i sagledavanja kako izgleda situacija na terenu. Jer mislim da moramo da uvek pravimo kombinaciju onoga što nam daje tehnološke mogućnosti i stvarnog života i uveravanja u neke stvari na terenu. Ono što sam rekao je da proteklih 12 meseci sam iskoristio, pošto nije bilo prilike koliko da putujemo u inostranstvo, iskoristio sam da obiđem Srbiju, ali uglavnom da budem u Vojvodini. Deo toga sam obišao na biciklu, deo kolima i fokusirao sam se, moji prethodnici su govorili sada o industrijskoj i o poljoprivrednoj proizvodnji, ja ću se fokusirati na jednu drugu oblast kojom se bavim protekle nekoliko godina, a to je zaštita kulturne baštine i kulturna baština u funkciji održivog turizma, za koji smatram da Vojvodina ima zaista ogroman potencijal. Ono što sam mogao da vidim u proteklih godinu dana je da imamo jako puno kulturne baštine koja nije na adekvatan način zaštićena i koju treba svim sredstvima i svim snagama i Republike i pokrajine i lokalnih samouprava i Evropske unije i svi koji su spremni da u tome učestvuju da se pobrinu da ona bude zaštićena i stavljena u funkciju. U skladu sa tim Vlada Republike Srbije na našu inicijativu u decembru prošle godine oformila radnu grupu, dva ministarstva, Ministarstva kulture, Ministarstva građevine i sada se tu priključilo i Ministarstvo trgovine, turizma i telekomunikacija. Naziv radne grupe je Dvorci Srbije, zaštita kulturne baštine. Većina tih dvoraca je na teritoriji Vojvodine i smatramo da je njihov potencijal za turizam ogroman, da mi možemo da budemo ono što su, ajde da ne pominjamo možda Austriju i Francusku, koji imaju tu dugu tradiciju, ali Slovačka, recimo, koja je zemlja koja je takođe imala, koja je takođe u tranziciji, koja je takođe imala socijalizam, je na sjajan način stavila sve te svoje dvorce u funkciju i mislim da su upravo ovakve konferencije mesta gde mi možemo da učimo. Moram da pomenem, zaista video sam i mnogo pozitivnih primera, video sam da je dvorac, recimo u Bočaru, koji se pominje već godinama unazad, konačno obnovljen sredstvima pokrajinske vlade i da će to biti mesto gde će deca iz škola iz cele Vojvodine dolaziti na boravak u prirodi, boravak u selu. Video sam i puno toga što je investirala vlada Mađarske kroz svoje različite fondacije, od obnove sinagoge u Subotici, crkve u Vrbasu, internata za devojčice u Zrenjaninu, do objekata sportske infrastrukture. Ko nije bio u prilici, preporučujemo da ode u Bačku Topolu da vidi kako izgleda fudbalska akademija u Bačkoj Topoli i kakav se tamo stadion gradi. I to je samo dokaz da kada su međunacionalni odnosi dobri, kada su dobri odnosi između dve države, kao što je sada slučaj protekli 10 godina između Srbije i Mađarske i međunacionalni odnosi u samoj Vojvodini, da je to najpogodnije tlo za cvetanje ekonomije, turizma, da se ljudi osjećaju sigurno, da stranci dolaze da ulažu. Istorijski su pokazatelji da su najnaprednije periodi bile razne zone u kojima su bili izmešani različiti ljudi sa različitim iskustvima, različitim religijama, različitim kulturama i da su oni u svom prožimanju davali najbolje rezultate. I upravo mislim da je to primer i Vojvodina stvarno može da bude ponosna na činjenicu da ima trenutno takvu situaciju na svojoj teritoriji. Naš magazin Diplomacy and Commerce, kao što je koleginica rekla, je organizovao brojne konferencije, puno njih je bilo vezano upravo za ambasade, za ljude sa kojima sarađujemo. Uvek su ambasade bile te koje su nam preporučivale stručnjake iz svojih zemalja, bez obzira da li je bilo reč o zaštiti kulturne baštine, o ženskim pravima, o kulturi i informisanju u vreme pandemije. Uradili smo zaista čitav niz najrazličitijih konferencija i to je još jedno prožimanje, još jedno dodatno iskustvo i dragoceni su svi ovi odnosi koje Privredna komora Vojvodine, zaista vidim, gaji protekli godina sa komorama iz celog sveta. Evo, imali su pre nekoliko dana posetu Aleksandriji, je li tako, Boško i Egiptu, gde su imali zaista uspešne sastanke i to je primer da mi treba da iskoristimo. Evo sad moji prethodnici su rekli da se nadaju kako ćemo se vratiti starom načinu godinu konferencija. A ja kažem, mislim da će neka forma hibridnih konferencija opstati upravo zato što nam je tehnologija pokazala, ok, mi možemo sada evo u drugom panelu da uključimo neke ljude iz celog sveta koji ne moraju da putuju u Novi Sad. Znači, oni mogu da ostanu na svom poslu, a da svoje iskustva nama prenesu. I to je jako važno, mnogo jednostavnije, to govorim sa pozicije organizatora ovakvih događaja, mnogo je jeftinije u krajnjem slučaju, a svi mi koji smo ovde, u Novom Sadu, Beogradu, ambasadori koji su u prilici da dođu, da budemo ovde, razmenimo vizit karte, popijemo kafu zajedno i mislim da je u tom nekom ponovo, vratit ću se na početak izlaganja, u tom spoju starog i novog sveta, tehnologije novog sveta i neke socijalne inteligencije, iskustava i vrednosti starog sveta, mislim da je budućnost i kada je reč o privredi i kada je reč o organizovanju ovakvih događaja i drago mi je evo što smo u ovom formatu nas trojica, kao ljudi koji otvaramo konferenciju već drugu godinu, a sa Privrednom komorom treću godinu na ovu temu i nadam se da će, kako bi rekli u onom filmu, ovo biti samo početak jednog prijateljstva.
Hvala vam, Roberti, na ovim uvodnim rečima. Poštovani gledalci, vi koji nas pratite, dakle, putem našeg YouTube kanala, imate naravno priliku da izaberete jezik na kojem želite da slušate i gledate ovu našu konferenciju, a to su srpski i engleski jezik. Dakle, u dnu vaših ekrana, kompjutera ili mobilnih telefona imate opciju za koju možete da se opredelite i do kraja nas slušate na srpskom ili engleskom jeziku. Dakle, posle ovih uvodnih reči i uvodnih otvaranja, pred nama su dva panela. Kao što je Robert rekao, u nastavku ove konferencije priključit će nam se ambasadori iz gotovo celog sveta. Neki su ovde sa nama u Novom Sadu, a neki će nam se priključiti online, a posle toga razgovarat ćemo sa predstavnicima privrednih komora, kako iz regiona, tako i iz cele Evrope. Dakle, naš prvi panel danas nazvali smo Perspektive razvoja privrede i saradnje u regionu. Ambasadori zemalja iz okruženja i afričkih zemalja koji rade u Beogradu podelit će sa nama iz svog ugla, naravno, iskustva iz proteklih godinu dana i kako su konkretno kroz svoje aktivnosti sagledali privredni razvoj. Sa nama je danas u Novom Sadu, u Privrednoj komori Vojvodine, njegova ekscelencija Mohamed Amin Belhaj, ambasador Kraljevine Maroko u Republici Srbiji. Your Excellency, please.
Dear President, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to congratulate the organizers, namely the company Color Media Communications and the Chamber of Commerce of Vojvodina for organizing this conference in Novi Sad, which falls within the perspective of economic cooperation 1 year after the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. I would like to express my satisfaction to come back once again to Vojvodina, and especially to the Vojvodina Chamber of Commerce, which spares no effort to support economic cooperation between Morocco and Serbia. I would like to start my intervention with an overview of the epidemiological situation, the vaccination campaign, and the economic situation in Morocco, with a focus on the prospects for economic cooperation with Serbia, then share with you a major event that will impact the development of my country. So, as for the sanitary situation, let's say that a wind of optimism seems to be blowing on the national economy, boosted by the acceleration of the national vaccination campaign and the lifting of certain restrictive measures by the government to date. To date, more than 14 million Moroccans have received their vaccines, corresponding to 38.8% of the total population. It is sure that the full recovery is not yet effective, 15 months after the start of the health crisis, but encouraging signals are here to confirm that we are going forward. The macroeconomic data shows a real improvement of important parts of the national economic activity, and the assessment of the economic situation illustrates a confirmed recovery dynamic. For manufacturing activities, the indicators are also in the green. The production capacity utilization rate, which increased by 5.3 points in the first quarter of 2021 to stand at 71.7%, is almost returning to its pre-crisis level. Industrial export for certain major sectors regained their pace during the month of April 2021. So some data, maybe, plus 62.6% for the automotive, plus 16.9% for phosphate derivatives, plus 20.8% for textiles, and plus 21% for electronics and electricity. When it comes to tourism sector, the Moroccan National Tourism Office launched in early May a promotional campaign for national tourism during the summer season 2021, and inviting Moroccan citizens to travel inside the borders. The agency also announced an international communication plan that will be released to foreign markets as soon as sanitary conditions allow. I also would like to share with you some elements on business support in Morocco. The National Agency for the Promotion of SMEs, Maroc Entreprise, supported a large number of investment projects in 2020. The number of projects has increased by 50% compared to 2019. So it's about 152 projects and 138% compared to 2018. It was, let's say, 86 projects, and have generated a global investment of 260 million euro and create not less than 25,000 jobs. So Maroc Entreprise also supported a number of investment projects related to the manufacture of products and equipment needed to deal with the pandemic. There are protective equipment, respiratory gases, in addition to infrared cameras and thermometers, disinfections and sterilization products, and protective masks. When it comes to perspective of cooperation with Serbia, regarding bilateral cooperation between our two countries, I would like to underline the excellent dynamic established between the Chamber of Commerce of Vojvodina and that of Casablanca and Stad. Despite the pandemic, the two regional institutions kept contact and exchange by organizing a conference on the possibilities of economic cooperation in which other Moroccan institutions were able to participate. The planned visit of the president of the Chamber of Commerce of Casablanca Stad to Vojvodina is still on the agenda and will take place as soon as the sanitary situation allows. The same is for the ADA, the Moroccan Agency for Agriculture, and the participation of Morocco to the Agriculture Fair. And I think that both business communities need further contacts and face-to-face to seize a lot of opportunities that the two regions and the two countries are given in that time. As you know, Minister Nikola, maybe you heard about that, Minister Nikola Selakovic paid a working visit to Rabat on May 5th, giving a strong political inputs for further cooperation prospect. It was decided that the Third Joint Economic Commission will be organized at the end of the year in Belgrade, including a business forum, and the Chamber of Commerce of Serbia and the General Confederation of Moroccan Enterprises, as well as the two regional chambers of Vojvodina and Casablanca, will be surely involved. It was also decided to encourage cooperation in the sector of industry, in the foreground, automotive, textile, pharmaceutical, but also agriculture, tourism, and new technologies. Last but not least, I would like to share with you a landmark event concerning the development of Morocco that will allow a better understanding of the dynamic that is ongoing in my country. It is the presentation last month of the report of a special commission of the new development model. First, from the beginning of the 2000s, Morocco started the reforms and opened up broad development prospects for the country, which allowed progress in several areas. But the momentum of reforms has run out of steam under the effects of several internal and external constraints of an economic, political, and security nature. The growth rate of the Moroccan economy has thus gone from 4.8% on annual average over the period 2000-2009 to 3.5% over the period 2010-2019. Nevertheless, the country has well managed the political and social effects induced by the international economic and financial crisis of 2008 and succeed to immunize the country against the great instability of the southern Mediterranean neighborhood. A special commission was formed and set up by His Majesty the King of Morocco in November 2019. His mandate was therefore to take stock of the development situation of the kingdom and to draw the outlines of a new development model to allow our country to approach the future with serenity and assurance. The mandates called on a commission to reflect on a strategic, global, integrated, and forward-looking nature and centered on the citizen. However, it turns out that the work of this commission has been intercepted by the global epidemic crisis, which has stimulated reflection and helped identify certain strengths and weaknesses of the current model. The working method was then focused on opening of consultation spaces to collect the concerns and proposals of citizens, political parties, institutional actors, economic partners and operators, social partners, and representatives of the civil society and local communities. Thus, an approach of listening of a large-scale national consultation was adopted. Moreover, it should be noted that the development model of the southern provinces of Morocco, which has made the southern region one of the most prosperous in Africa, was an example of great inspiration to the members of the Commission. So it is an ambition for 2035. Our ambition is to set this new model for 2035. After 15 months of work, the Commission proposed a new development model designed by Moroccans, with Moroccans, and for Moroccans, which reflects a common ambition of a prosperous, inclusive, united, sustainable, and audacious Morocco. This ambition is translated into targeted development objectives, which would raise the kingdom into the rank of emerging countries by 2035, and which would allow it to further develop its role as a model in its region and beyond. So, at the economic level, some of its objectives are the doubling of GDP by 2035, the acceleration of this transformation of the economy to make it dynamic, diversified, and competitive, the creation of added value and jobs, and the generation of resources to finance social needs. To this end, 5 strategic choices have been identified. 1, secure entrepreneurial initiative. 2, guide economic players toward productive activities. 3rd, improve competitiveness. 4, established a macroeconomic framework in the service of growth. And 5, systematically remove all administrative and regulatory barriers in order to secure entrepreneurial initiative. Finally, I think that it was useful to share with you this important event to reassure you about the positive dynamic that the Kingdom of Morocco is experiencing despite the COVID-19 crisis, and that Morocco has always had a clear and well-defined prospective vision in order to implement the reforms necessary to consolidate its economy, support investments, and position itself as a regional hub and reliable and credible economic partner at the gate to Africa. Thank you.
Hvala. Sa Arapskom Republikom Egipat i ambasadom u Republici Srbiji Privredna komora Vojvodine ima odličnu saradnju. Nedavno je, kao što smo ovde već i čuli u toku uvodnih izlaganja, u Aleksandriji potpisan sporazum o saradnji dve komore, a za nama su mnogobrojni održani poslovni forumi i online konferencije. Veliko nam je zadovoljstvo danas pozdraviti ambasadora Arapske Republike Egipat u Republici Srbiji. Njegova ekscelencija Amr Al-Guvejli, ambasador Arapske Republike Egipat u Republici Srbiji. Nadam se da se čujemo i vidimo. Your Excellency, please.
Thank you very much. I would like to first of all thank the Voјvodina Chamber of Commerce for this invitation, particularly Mr. Boško Vušević, my good friend and the active president of the Chamber of Commerce. Of course, also thank my good friend Robert Choban, the president of Diplomacy and Commerce and Commerce. We always, every time we go to reach out to a particular institution, we meet there by coincidence, and we believe that there is a coincidence is better than 1,000 appointments. So always happy to see the active involvement of Diplomacy and Commerce, a major portal for linking the diplomatic community with the different Serbian circles, be it governmental, economic, or cultural. And of course, we always consider ourselves being hosted by the esteemed government, provisional government of Vojvodina. And may I, through the presence of the President of the Assembly of the Autonomous Province, also relay the high regards to President Mirovic, President of the Provincial Government. We had an excellent visit, maybe the first of its kind, by the provincial government and the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Vojvodina to Alexandria not too long ago. And we think that this will be a sustained program of cooperation, not only between the provincial government of Vojvodina and its chambers of commerce and institutions and the governorate of Alexandria, which, by the way, is the second largest city in Egypt, the second largest contributor to the economy, and almost, I would say, about 6 million people living there. But of course, to Egypt in general, as you rightly pointed out, Egypt and Serbia enjoy solid diplomatic relations. The oldest, the first embassy for Serbia in Africa and the Arab world was in Cairo. It remains now in one of the most elegant districts of Cairo, Zamalek, and this is a launching, also a regional launching network for Serbia and for Vojvodina to the Arab world. The distinguished representation by the select colleagues and ambassadors of Algeria, of Morocco, of Croatia, and of Bulgaria. Very happy to be with this group of friends with whom Egypt enjoys excellent diplomatic and brotherly relations. I actually join you from my holiday, this is a testimony of further promoting economic cooperation between Egypt and between Serbia and Vojvodina in particular. I couldn't have my live flag behind me, but I have this postcard more or less behind me, which actually in a way shows you the richness and the diversity of Egypt. If you look to the pyramids and the Giza Plateau with the Sphinx, this is about 7,000 years ago. And if you look to these skyscrapers in Cairo, this is as modern as it could get. And that is exactly the level of depth and the width of network that any business and economic cooperation offers for not only Serbia but for the Serbia and Vojvodina, not only to Egypt but to the Arab world and to Africa, to the Mediterranean. So this network and multi-layers of institutions is basically a very important advantage that could be made of, and this particular conference is one good channel to develop this further. I will not, overburden you, and also being in holiday, with numbers and statistics, because this can be found on the internet and in official sites easily, but I would try to highlight a number of points that reflect the dynamism of the economy at this particular moment, and hence the opportunities that it offers for the future. Now, first of all, under the presidency of Egypt to the African Union, the African Continental Free Trade Area was finalized, and we are talking here about 1.2 billion consumers, the largest free trade area in the world in terms of number of consumers and citizens enjoying the free flow of goods without customs, without obviously taxes and other charges, exists. And Alexandria probably was chosen by the President Mirovic as a gateway, as an opening door for that free trade area. But this is not only the one agreement with which Egypt enjoys and is heavily engaged in its realization. But of course, we have the Greater Arab Free Trade Area, and then Egypt, as you know, also has an association agreement with the European Union. So this network of agreements that allow for the free flow of trade and other forms of economic engagement, including investment and other, is an important issue to keep in mind and to benefit from. In fact, we visited the distinguished Chamber of Commerce in Vojvodina within the group of Francophone ambassadors, and we even spoke about how such a virtual platform could further link and interconnect the chambers of commerce from the region, and that is something that I am committed to, together with my colleagues and distinguished friends from the Francophone embassy. So again, this wide array of agreements of spaces, what we call economic spaces, offers incredible advantage for further fortifying and reinforcing relations in this regard. Now, this set of agreements is not only a set of governmental agreements, intergovernmental and regional agreements, but as my good friends, the introducers, be it Mr. Bushurevich and Mr. Choban, mentioned, now this has been further fortified and strengthened and institutionalized between Vojvodina in particular and between a number of counterparts in Egypt. The two chambers of commerce have signed a memorandum of understanding that further institutionalizes their cooperation. The Vojvodina provincial government with the governorate of Alexandria have also done so, and I'm happy to announce through this conference that we have finalized the twinning and cooperation agreement between the city of Novi Sad and the city of Alexandria. So this also on a more specific level, those direct bilateral agreements offer an excellent base for further cooperation in this regard. Now, why now? This is an important question. I think Egypt is one of the few economies, if not maybe the only economy in the region that has sustained the COVID crisis, still with positive growth of the economy, and one of the highest still even rates of growth in the last period. And this is due partially to the fact that there are a number of mega projects taking place in Egypt at the moment. I'm sure the delegation has witnessed firsthand a number of them, but may I just highlight three of them. One, the parallel construction of around 12 cities, among them three mega cities. One is going to be the new capital of Egypt, the administrative capital, which is halfway between Cairo and Suez. The second is the capital of the Mediterranean, El Alamein, 100 kilometers from Alexandria that you visited, my dear colleagues. And the third is El Galala, the capital of the Red Sea, and speak of about 9 other cities. Parallel construction. This is a huge public investment that allows for opportunities for companies in different fields, including construction, IT, furniture and other sectors to contribute to this mega construction of, as we said, about 12 cities in parallel, particularly 3 of them are 3 mega cities. The second is a huge boost in the infrastructure. I think over 12,000 new kilometers of highways have been constructed in the last 4 years, making Egypt make a leap in the infrastructure indexes or indices, different indices, and hence facilitating, of course, inter-regional or interprovincial trade, but also contributing positively to all the other sectors of the economy. The third and the last that I will highlight here is a number of logistics and services zones, particularly one around the Suez Canal. We have seen lately how the Suez Canal is basically the main channel carrying the global trade, and now the thinking is to actually benefit from and to invest in this unique lifeline for the trade, not only for it to be transiting the canal, but a whole project of services and logistics zone, offering, of course, a number of incentives for all the investors in this regard. Let me share with you one idea that could be of interest for Serbia and Vojvodina in particular in that regard. Just by establishing a number of silos for the storage of different grains produced by Serbia in the Suez Canal, in this new Suez Canal industrial and services zone, would allow for basically this re-export of this, whether wheat, corn, or otherwise, to basically the whole world, because all of the centrality of the Suez Canal and the passage and transit of world trade. So these are some creative, innovative ideas that maybe deserve and merit further thinking, but that through the Chamber of Commerce and through the provincial government, we can develop further. Now, finally, I'm happy to say that there will be a number of activities taking place in the next maybe few months, if not even before, that would allow for concrete follow-up for some of the ideas that we are sharing together today, such as the convening of the Joint Economic Committee between Egypt and Serbia under the chairmanship of the two foreign ministers, Minister Selakovic of Serbia, Minister Shukri of Egypt, the convening for the first time of the Joint Business Council between the two countries, spearheaded by Mr. Marco Chavez of the Chamber of Commerce of Serbia, and Minister Osama Salah, former Minister Osama Salah, the chairman of the Egyptian side. And lastly, that Governor of Alexandria plans to undertake a visit heading a trade and investment delegation, during which hopefully this agreement between Novi Sad and Alexandria would be signed. So I would really be happy to invite through you the economic circle, the business community of Vojvodina and of Serbia, to contact the embassy through you and directly to plan for business-to-business meetings when these delegations arrive in the coming few months, and to from now to actually share ideas, concrete ideas of cooperation in the future, so that we can prepare them well ahead. So I think that I think it was Kennedy who said there's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come. Now the time is most ripe for actually cementing economic business cooperation between Vojvodina and Egypt and different governors, but particularly through this exchange of trade and investment delegations. I think behind me, you will see the social media handle at Egypt and Serbia, through which we can receive all of your comments and build on them, preparing for the visits that will be undertaken in the next few months. This is a good opportunity. Although we meet virtually, I meet, despite the background that I have behind me, I'm actually very close to the sea, but still this incredible opportunity that information and communication technology offers for us. And I thank the organizers once again for engaging us to think for the future, the better future for Serbia and Egypt, for Vojvodina and Alexandria. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Richard Pastor, President of the Assembly of the Autonomous Province of Vojvodina, Mr. Bosko Vučirević, President of the Chamber of Commerce of Vojvodina, representatives of Chamber of Commerce of participants countries, Mr. Robert Chauvin, President of Polar Press Group, Excellencies, Ambassadors, distinguished participants. First of all, let me thank the company Polar Press Group and the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Vojvodina for providing us this opportunity to discuss and exchange views on economy, especially nowadays in the situation of COVID-19 pandemic. In addition to the opportunity to learn about more the very dynamic economy reality of Vojvodina province, this meeting enables us to discuss ways to develop economic relationship between our respective countries and Vojvodina, which contributes, we know, greatly to the economy of Serbia. As you know, Algeria has a strong relation with the historical relationship with Serbia, even before our independence. With the time, this relationship was enhanced with the let me just, I am not very with this. Yes, about the relationship was enhanced to include now some companies, Serbian companies who are present in Algeria, like Hidrotehnica, Energo Project, Yugo Import, Mikhailo Popin. If we speak about trade exchange between Algeria and Serbia, Algeria is still in the forefront of African countries in terms of the volume of exchange with Serbia, estimated in 2020 at 200 million US dollars, despite the COVID-19 pandemic situation. This, of course, doesn't reflect the enormous potentialities and the multiple opportunities that exist in our two countries. As you know, most of exchange with Serbia were done with the region of Niš, and we hope to develop the same with Vojvodina. With the term of our conference today, the consequences of COVID-19 in Algeria, as many places in the world, are significant and in many respects. But Algeria comparatively is less impacted by this pandemic comparatively to other countries in Africa, because I think government of Algeria has implemented various measures with a view to limit the spread of COVID-19. You know, in 1 year ago, more than 1 year ago, at the beginning of the pandemic, Algerian government decided to close borders, airport, and to suspend of non-cargo international air and maritime level. Of course, this impacted the economy, but the result is that our rate of epidemic is less than in other countries of Africa. In 22 of March, all domestic flights also have been suspended. Cultural, sporting, and commercial events are suspended, and restaurant and cafe, schools, universities are also, public transportation are closed, and the curfew has been imposed in some regions. But now we can, because the situation is better, the borders were opened yesterday in the 1st of June. There is the first flight to Algerian airport. But of course, this didn't stop completely the activity, the economic activity, even the political activity. As you know, we are preparing next week legislative elections in Algeria. It will be held in the 12th of June. And also to prepare post-COVID situation, government led to adoption of an ambitious economic plan and a strategy to recovery program that aims at the first stage to diversify countries' income and boost local industries, enabling them to replace imported products because the volume of importation declined by 8 billion this year. But despite the pandemic, Algeria exported a value of 1.1 million USD of fruit and vegetables during the first 10 months of 1919. And this, it was the result of the new policy to promote exportation out of hydrocarbons resource. As you know, Algeria is a country who produces gas and oil, but now there is a policy to export more other resources. Also, the economic recovery program has highly prioritized measures to encourage investment by improving effectively the business climate, streamlining investment laws, and removing various obstacles with a focus on several sectors such as agriculture, food, and pharmaceutical industries. Algeria also, as a member of African Union, attached a great importance to the African economy integration, and continues to carry out several ambitious projects with the African component to include, for example, Al Hamdaniya port, which is considered to be the largest in Africa, handling 6.5 million containers by day. The project of North-South Highway, it's for 4,000 kilometers. It will reach from Algeria to Nigeria, and also natural gas pipeline linking Algeria to another country producer of oil as Nigeria, and also the project of optical fiber connection project between Algeria and Nigeria. This Al-Hamdaniya Megaport is a regional hub for North Africa in the Mediterranean. It will have a capacity of 25 million tons per year. For this is also the highway between Algiers and Lagos. Project is finishing at its last steps, and also a Nigerian gas pipeline project from Algeria to Nigeria, and the fiber connection. As you know, the African zone, the free trade zone in Africa, the agreement was signed by 54 countries of the 55th members of UA. It will be the largest free trade area, and with 1.2 billion people, and GDP, as according to experts, will be over than 3 trillion USD. Of course, Algeria, geographically, it can be that it wants to be the gateway to Africa, especially with the entry in force of the African free trade area. And also with Serbia, we hope to promote our relationship, because there is a really enormous potential in our two countries. I would like to conclude this brief overview on the Algerian economy in times of pandemic by saying that bearing in mind the great advantages existing both ways, it's very important to cherish and exploit the opportunities of partnership between our countries and the province of Vojvodina, and I will spare no effort to provide all informations and facilities to the Chamber of Commerce of Vojvodina and all economic operators of Serbia, to all information and facilitates all information that could need with the view of establishing a constructive cooperation with my country. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Sa nama je danas ovde u Novom Sadu, u Privrednoj komori Vojvodine, gospodin Aleksandar Angelov, šef trgovinsko-ekonomskog odeljenja u ambasadi Republike Bugarske u Republici Srbiji. Mr. Angelov, please.
Thank you. First of all, dear Mr. President Vučurić, dear Mr. President Pastor, and dear Mr. President Čoban, first of all, I would like to thank for your invitation to have the opportunity to participate in this important conference and to have the opportunity also to discuss the situation and how we foresee the economic development in the near future, and to share with you some small input regarding our, from Bulgarian side, the experience and how we foresee the near future after this COVID pandemic that had us all unfortunately affected. Please excuse His Excellency absence. He was not able to come, so I'll speak on his behalf. As we are all aware, the pandemic from the COVID did had its effect in social and economic impact on all economies. Bulgaria, from its side, maintained and strengthened one of its main competitive advantages as an economy, meaning a stable and predictable macroeconomic environment. The Bulgarian government pursues a conservative fiscal policy, and the currency board is a factor of stability. Whether, though, that the negative consequences that the COVID-19 had, they were reported that there were some negative impacts resulting from both domestic and international factors. Even though the tendency of sustainable growth in the Bulgarian economy in the framework of 3 to 4% during the last years was in 2020 inevitably affected, but substantially in a small dimension compared to other EU countries, member states. But what we had with this pandemic is that it raises the need of assessing the organization and the structure of the economy. From which this assessment, it resulted that we did that the Bulgarian economic policy over the past years has been the proper, meaning that it was creating and trying to flourish and develop the conditions for implementing development and prosperity of new technologies in the Bulgarian economy. Because of the coronavirus, the social economic crisis that was made, the usage of the digital technologies was enhanced. We all started to be more digitalized, to use more the new technologies. This was kind of an immediate impact on our social life, and this also affected the economic and the industries to see how they can use these new technologies and in order to be able to reply to the new conditions that we are living and having in the future. So the faster digitalization of individual industries provides many opportunities and benefits of achieving sustainable economic growth. The period of technological transformation causes disturbances. We all know that in order to start implementing new technologies, there is some kind of a period of adjustment, and which is inevitable to have its some impacts. So this period does have its impact in the disturbances, but the digitalization transforms the jobs. Then the jobs and places and distributes them in the different industries rather than diminishing and lowering the jobs as it is. The key to the economic recovery, as we are seeing it, is to invest in innovation, economic effectiveness, and education, in the main goal of applying the new technologies into the individual industries, thus achieving a sustainable economic growth. In this regard, the priorities of the Bulgarian investment policy are education and innovation, with the main goals being increase in investments for technological development in the production and the services with high added value and creation of new high productivity jobs. Integrated counteraction to negative tendencies in the investment activity and employment, and also the development of the industrial zones that we have in Bulgaria. The reduction of regional disparities in the socio-economic development also. Appreciating the importance of the capital flows, especially after their global reduction resulting from the crisis, the government's policies aimed at building and maintaining the most important factors for the attractiveness of Bulgaria as an investment destination, with its macroeconomic and financial stability in order to create conditions for economic growth, decisive improvement of the administrative environment and maintaining the lowest tax rates in the EU, investment incentives and measures to promote access to finance for small and medium-sized enterprises, including through the Bulgarian Development Bank, reforming vocational education and training and interaction between higher education institutions and businesses. Bulgaria is a factor of stability in the Balkans and pursues an active policy to support the economic development of the region. Active cooperation is an integral part of the European integration of the Western Balkans, which contributes to strengthening confidence, stability, security, and the establishment of European standards in the relations of the region. The geographical, cultural, and linguistic proximity between Bulgaria and Serbia favors active multilateral economic ties. The data on the development of the Bulgarian economy over the last decade clearly shows that it follows the global trend of digitalization and business relations, as exemplified by the generated turnover of services in the sector of information and communication technologies in Bulgaria, which represents around 1/5 of the GDP of the country. The concept for digital transformation of the Bulgarian industry, developed by the Ministry of Economy of the Republic of Bulgaria, and the vision outlined in it, is that by 2030, Bulgaria should be recognized as a regional center of the digital economy by implementing products, technologies, businesses, models, and processes from Industry 4.0. In this regard, I am convinced that cooperation between our two countries in the field of innovation and entrepreneurship has excellent prospects for development and achieving mutual sustainable economic growth. I'll just mention that between Bulgaria and Serbia, the foreign trade turnover for 2020, it was 1.3 billion, around there. And to make sure to sustain growth, and there is the potential for growing it, and as I was saying about trying to implement and put forward mostly the new technologies so that we can make a sustainable growth, which requires us to take a full advantage of the opportunities that it offers. So to development of our industries, but also to include and to have in mind that we need to adapt to the new conditions in which we live, created by unpredictable challenges that we will face in the near future. Thank you for your attention. Thank you again for the invitation.
Thank you. Posle svih izlaganja naših uvodničara i vaših ekscelencija u ime organizatora ove konferencije, ja vam zahvaljujem na učešću uz nadu da ćemo svakako, kao što smo više puta ovde danas čuli, u skladu sa epidemiološkom situacijom u buduće razgovarati i uživo na konferencijama. Hvala svim učesnicima. U nastavku naše konferencije otvaramo panel broj 2 koji se zove Međuregionalna saradnja, osnova održivog privrednog razvoja u novonastalim uslovima. Za sve vas koji ste se priključili tek u ovom trenutku i želite da pratite samo ovaj panel, još jednom objašnjenje da su jezici na kojima možete pratiti ovu konferenciju engleski i srpski. U skladu sa tim možete da izaberete na kom jeziku želite da slušate ovu našu konferenciju. Na ovom drugom panelu razgovarat ćemo sa predstavnicima privrednih komora evropskih regiona. Kako su komore funkcionisale tokom prethodnih godinu dana i kakvi su uopšte planovi za dalje. Sa svim predstavnicima koje ćemo danas čuti na ovom drugom panelu, Privredna komora Vojvodine je održavala kontakte i zajednički smo radili na prevazilaženju poteškoća tokom COVID perioda. Na samom početku ovog našeg drugog panela ja ću zamoliti moje kolege iz Privredne komore Vojvodine da nam daju kratak uvod. Gospodin Milan Stojanov, izvolite.
Hvala, Kristina. Hvala i svim kolegama iz privrednih komora koji su odvojili svoje vreme da nam se priključe na ovom panelu. Dragi prijatelji, draga Eva, draga Natali, draga Dragana i dragi Kostas, hvala vam i na strpljenju, čekajući da dođe vreme za naš komorski panel. Ja ću samo da vas pozdravim u ime Privredne komore Vojvodine, vašeg starog prijatelja, i da krenemo redom da ovo bude malo interaktivnije nego onaj prvi panel, ako ste tako zamislili. Ukoliko imate prezentaciju, slobodno je šerujte, nismo ograničeni vremenom pa da probamo da razmenemo iskustva u našem poslovanju i pružanju usluga našim poslovnim zajednicama u poslednjih godinu dana u nekim novonastalim uslovima i drugačijim okolnostima. Krenuli bi od našeg starog prijatelja, partnera Privredne komore Županije Čongrad iz Segedina. Sad sam ja preuzeo Kristini parče posla, evo neće mi zameriti, ja ću najaviti gospođu Evu Đurović, projekt menadžera iz Županije Čongrad iz Segedina.
Srdačan pozdrav svima. Moje ime je Eva Đurović, predstavljam Privrednu komoru Županije Čongrad iz Mađarske i Segedina. Pošto je mađarski i srpski jezik za mene podjednako drag, ja ću da nastavim na engleskom. Pripremila sam prezentaciju, sad ću da pokušam da šerujem. Znači, ukratko, my name is Eva Đurović. I'm representing the Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Čongrad County from Hungary. First of all, I would like to greet Mr. Pastor, the President of the Assembly of the Autonomous Province of Vojvodina. I would like to thank the organizers. First of all, Mr. Vučurević, the President of the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Vojvodina, and also Mr. Milan Stojanov, who is one of the persons to be blamed for such perfect organization of the current event. Of course, I would like to extend my greetings to Mr. Čoban, the President of Company Diplomacy and Commerce, and cordial greetings also to the diplomatic corps, Your Excellencies, and also the representatives of the chambers of the countries that are present here at the current moment. I prepared a very short presentation about the interregional cooperation, capturing the past period of COVID pandemic. And I will present 4 smaller topics within this framework. The first topic will be a small snapshot of different economic indicators showing the results or the negative impact of the pandemic that had on our region. As a second topic, I would like to tell a couple of words about the increased support to enterprises that our chamber is providing. The third big topic will be the interregional projects between Hungary and Serbia. And last but not least, I will have a couple of words about joint actions that we are having together with the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Vojvodina. Like I said, I will start my presentation with the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Just a couple of very, very dramatic and visually representative graphs and charts for your convenience. So my first slide is showing you the GDP volume change comparison, comparing the same quarter of different years. So as you can see, there has been a drastic drop as the pandemic hit in the second quarter of 2020, and ever since the indicators are not as good as prior to the pandemic. This chart is showing you the change in the number of unemployed persons in the monthly change rate. And as you can see, the drastic unemployment increase have been last year in June, and ever since the rate of unemployment is still very high, still considerably higher than prior to the pandemic. Another indicator that I chose for presenting you the impact of the COVID had on Hungarian economy is the changes in prices. And I must say that either we take, for example, consumer prices, or if we take agricultural producer prices, or if we take, for example, the industrial domestic output prices or import prices, in all price categories, there has been a considerable increase. And my last graph showing the effect of the pandemic is focusing on the tourism nights. You can see that there has been a drastic drop in the number of tourism nights. I think this is a global problem that is present everywhere, and tourism is obviously one of the sectors that have been hardly hit by the pandemic. So, concerning these short overviews and numbers, it is more than obvious that SMEs and businesses need to be supported, and not just by the governments, but also the role of the chambers of commerce are very crucial and inevitable in these critical periods. So I will just have a couple of services to tell you about what we are offering to the companies in order to help them mitigate the negative effects of the pandemic. The first one is that we offer an interest-free loan from the chamber's own funds, which we call a COVID construction chamber loan. Enterprises that are the members of the chamber, so in Hungary you most probably know that chamber membership is not obligatory. Businesses can choose to be members, so we offer this type of loan for our voluntary members. And this loan is for the purposes of overcoming the negative effects of the pandemic, to solve liquidity problems or whatever difficulties a company might face. The loan can be used for 24 months and is characterized by very easy administration process. So that's why it's very, very much liked among the enterprises. The next thing is that we set up a working group for providing up-to-date information to SMEs concerning all the information related to the pandemic. Of course, businesses are very uncertain during these times because the situation is changing from one day to another. So does the regulation and the regulatory framework. So for them, it is very hard, very often to follow the current versions of the regulations. And also, when can they open their shops? Until what time they can be open? Or they have many different questions. Also, including border entrance regulations for different countries. So we set up an expert group, a group of experts working in the chamber that are providing very proper and up-to-date information to the businesses in order to help them know the current situation. The third big topic within this field is the transnational project application. I'm very happy to say that this year it was the May deadline for Erasmus Plus application, and we took part in application processes in various topics, but one of the common points for this project was that we aim to support enterprises also through this project to overcome the difficulties they have due to the COVID pandemic. These include, for example, very interesting topics, including employee well-being, for example, or how companies can increase their resilience in order to survive or to remain more competitive on the market. Of course, we have, for example, an application dealing with a new normal blended working model, meaning that companies had to switch the working model due to the pandemic, combining online and offline working modes. And last but not least, stress management is also one of the topics that we hope to deal with. Just as our very good friends from Novi Sad, we also organize lots of events online mainly due to the pandemic, but now we are gradually switching to face-to-face implementation. We also had, I must say, a very successful event together with the General Consul of Hungary in Subotica, because our enterprises were very curious and they wanted to do business in Serbia, and they just wanted to get the information when they will be able to go there and just meet in person with their business partners. Okay, so the pandemic was really hard and is still really hard, but I must say that we managed to continue the interregional cooperation even through interregional projects. And this is one of my greatest passions. So I decided to tell you something more about the interregional project that we are implementing together with Serbia. One of the projects is called Be Student, which is building entrepreneurial ecosystem, student entrepreneurship beyond borders. And I'm very happy to say that we are having a lead partner from the Faculty of Technology from the University of Novi Sad. And as far as I know, they are listening to us, so I'm taking the opportunity to greet them. The most important aim of this project is the creation of a student center within the framework of the Faculty of Technology. It will be a center for innovation, for training, for transfer of knowledge and entrepreneurship. Of course, we want to prepare the students for real life and for joining the business life, and therefore we will have a scholarship program implemented, which means that altogether 35 months will be spent in scholarship in Hungary and in Serbia. We will be very happy to receive 10 students from Novi Sad, and they will be placed in Hungarian companies. Okay, so we are having another one which is called the Regional Innovation Laboratory for Industrial Automation and Mechatronics. Here, the lead partner is from Subotica. It is the Subotica Tech College of Applied Sciences. The Hungarian educational partner is the University of Szeged. And from the business support structure, it is our chamber, and from Serbia, it is the business incubator of Subotica. Here, in this project, the most important thing is that we are having two competence laboratories, one in Subotica and one in Serbia, and these are equipped with various robots. And the most important thing is that companies can go to these laboratories and they can learn how to program the robots for their own purposes. And last but not least, of course, we will again have five students from Hungary and from Serbia taking part in this student exchange program. Okay, we are having various joint actions planned for the forthcoming period. I'm very proud to say that last year in February, we signed with the Chamber of Commerce of Vojvodina from Novi Sad and with the Rijeka Chamber of Commerce from Croatia, a trilateral touristic cooperation agreement. Unfortunately, it was just a month before the pandemic kicked in, so we didn't manage to make all the activities that we planned. But since the borders are being opened and we will be more free to go and to travel, we will continue the planned activities this year. And the most important aim is, of course, to organize study trips for tourism organizations, which are, of course, mostly endangered due to the pandemic. So it's a very important action that we plan. And also we are planning to continue our very good cooperation that we are having in terms of inter-regional trade missions and organizing sector-specific B2B meetings, fairs, and exhibitions. So I tried to fit into the time frame. I hope that I covered all the most important aspects of the topic. I'm here and I'm open to discussions and to exchange ideas and opinions with you. Thank you very much for your attention.
Hvala Eva na ovim informacijama i naravno na vašoj prezentaciji. Kao što smo čuli od Eve, naravno komore su tokom ovog covidnog perioda imale vrlo važnu ulogu dakle, u tom spajanju privrednika i rešavanju njihovih problema. Kakva je situacija u Privrednoj komori Moravsko-Šlejske regije? Čućemo od Natali Šitavancove, direktorke te Privredne komore. Natali, please.
Natalie, if you hear us, we can't hear you. You should unmute. Try again.
Sorry. Now you can hear me? Okay, so I will start again. Dear ladies and gentlemen, dear ambassadors, dear colleagues from Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Vojvodina. Thank you for inviting me to this event. I really appreciate cooperation with our chambers. In my speech, I would like to speak about the pandemic situation in my country during the last year, and also about the situation of our countries, of our companies. Life and the pandemic situation in the Czech Republic have been changing rapidly during last year. At the beginning of last summer, it seems that the Czech Republic was one of the best countries dealing with pandemic. However, the number of infected and sick people began to increase again during the summer of 2020, with the capital city of Prague being frequently visited by foreign tourists. During August, the incidence of the disease spread to almost the entire country. In October last year, all schools, all restaurants and further services were closed. On 1st of November 2020, according to available statistics, the Czech Republic had the highest number of deaths in the past week in the world. On December 30, the daily increase of infected persons exceeded 70,000 for the first time. In December last year, vaccination officially began in the Czech Republic. In the middle of January, people older than 80 years registered, and in the second half of May 2021, the registration for people older than 40 years was opened. At the present time, 1,500,000 people are fully vaccinated, which is 16.6% of the population, and 3,800,000 people, which is 44% of the population, have received the first part of vaccine. Now the situation in the Czech Republic improved, and daily increases of infected people are lower and lower. Schools are opened again, shops, restaurants and services are opening from the last week. I must say that we are all looking forward to a better tomorrow, to a better summer, to a better year, even though the individual mutations are still appearing in some places and we are still worrying, but I hope that this time we will be able to keep the situation under the control. And what was the COVID year from the point of view of domestic firms and entrepreneurs? A large number of domestic self-employed people spent the spring months of 2020 under the stress of a temporary loss of income and restrictions on activities. But I think that at the same time they had the vision that from June it will hopefully be better. In addition, a number of small self-employed persons applied for the state support, which could compensate for their short-term outage relatively well. With the summer dismantling of 2020, however, the comparable circumstances of the addressed companies end. Furthermore, two separate groups are born. While some companies do not plan any strategic changes to their business, the other groups see the current pandemic as the signal to constructively reconsider their existing business plans. The development of the following situation proved that the entrepreneurs who adjust their business plans with regard to the risk of an autumn worsening of the pandemic were able to survive, often at the cost of fundamental changes to their business, often with the offer of completely different products than those offered before the pandemic. Many have established e-shops and online sales channels. Today, thanks to these adjustments, they can continue to work, and some do even better than before the pandemic. Of course, individual entrepreneurs did not have the same starting position. Stores selling primarily over the internet, mostly during the pandemic, felt the benefits of the online environment. And entrepreneurs who had to deal with a fixed establishment in the stone shop during the declared insulation was in the more difficult situation. During a pandemic, companies whose operation depends on personal physical interaction feel a major problem. For example, massage, hairdressing, or beauty salons. Such services can be offered on the internet but not virtually provided. Some salons built over the years are now in ruins. In addition, if they are loaned with high rents or loans, it can sometimes mean their definitive end. Probably the one of the most successful branches during the pandemic were language teachers. Many of them did not even notice any loss of income. Interest in their service has increased. Several tourism entrepreneurs have also successfully started online language teaching. The operation of travel agencies and also guides activities during the pandemic suffered. Some offices saw a decline of up to 90%. The largest number of addressed entrepreneurs by our chamber, for whom the last COVID year was clearly loss-making, are owners of restaurants and accommodation facilities, hotel, hostels, Airbnb. Several cafes and restaurants from our region ended up completely out of work, only some gradually found different alternatives. The last COVID year was evaluated very favorably by a number of addressed craftsmen, such as plumbers, heaters, welders, and some other professions. The long-term interest in their services was also due to the interest of people to use the period when they still have to be at home to build their apartment or house. So I think that entrepreneurs who, after the initial shock of spring 2020, experience new stability or even significant business development, usually see the cause of their willingness to adapt quickly to new conditions. They had to reconsider the current nature of their trade, discard sentiment, and quickly start new processes. I must say that our Chamber of Commerce was very active in the last year, and we were trying to help our companies to go through the hard times with maximum of support. We organized online consultations, webinars, international B2B meetings. Our cooperation with our partnership chambers was still running very smoothly. We were exchanging information, organizing online events, and so on. As I said before, we are looking forward now to do physical events again. And I would like to take this opportunity to invite our colleagues from Chamber of Commerce of Vojvodina for a business mission to the Moravia-Silesia region during the autumn this year. This mission from tourism sector was already planned a year ago, and I hope that we will be able to meet again personally soon and help the tourism sector to revitalize and give people the opportunity to discover beauties of our partnership regions. I think that's all from my side, and thank you for your attention.
Natali, hvala. A sa Privrednom komorom Valdoaza, Privredna komora Vojvodine ima potpisan sporazum o saradnji. Pandemija nas je svakako sprečila da se vidimo uživo u protekli godinu dana, ali nas nije sprečila da se vidimo online u ovom trenutku. Pozdravljam gospodina Pjera Kišlija, predsjednika Privredne komore Valdoaz.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, please.
Hello. I'm very pleased to be with you today. I'm really sorry because I have an agenda problem today because I'm going to a funeral of a little boy of 14 years old. So I'm a little bit stressed by the time. Anyhow, I am very pleased to be with you today. I really hope that after, we say in France, after the rain, the sun is coming.
I think there is a problem with the equipment now, Mr. Kišli.
Da, imamo problem. Ja predlažem da dok ne vidimo da li će gospodin Kišli moći da nam se priključi kasnije, kada se ukaže za to neka bolja prilika, sa Privrednom komorom Republike Srpske smo takođe tokom pandemijskog perioda kao Privredna komora Vojvodine imali intenzivnu komunikaciju i praktično zajednički radili na otklanjanju nekih problema koji su se javljali u poslovanju i tržištima i Republike Srpske i Srbije, to jest autonomne pokrajine Vojvodine. Kako teče oporavak privrede u ovom trenutku? Pitamo Draganu Kokot, direktoricu sektora za ekonomsko-pravne poslove Privredne komore Republike Srpske. Dragana, pozdrav.
I'm sorry.
Gospodin
I had some
Kišli.
problem with
Yes,
network.
Mr. Kišli.
So I don't know where I was. I said
Okay.
we had a hurricane in France. Business was very flat. It seems today that step by step, due to the progress of the vaccination, the situation is moving on a positive way again. Some businesses like mechanical industries and subcontracting and such, it seems are step by step improving again. Of course, restaurant, as I hear the lady just before me, I didn't understand which country she's coming, but step by step also restaurants and bars, they are allowed to reopen partially since 1 week or 10 days, only the terrace. Very soon, next week, I think the 9th of June, they will be able to be 100% visitors on the terrace and 50% inside the restaurant. Of course, you can imagine, since they are allowed to open the restaurant, the weather is a disaster. It's raining every day in France, so really they are unlucky. So I think to be honest, most of the projects we had were frozen. We will now reactive them step by step, and also the company that we visited together in Novi Sad, and we met in Novi Sad. I think we will be able to rediscuss a little bit all these projects because, to be honest, everything was frozen. I don't think France was an exception. Luckily, our government helped a lot financially most of our economy. Most of our companies were helped. We got a lot of subventions. Of course, one day we will have to reimburse them. But this is what I could say this morning. Honestly, there is nothing a lot new compared to the last time we discussed, except that, as I said at the start, after the rain, it seems that the sun is coming back. And I really hope to see my friends from Novi Sad soon. As I said to President Vukovic, Bosco, I will organize in Cergy-Pontoise in October big events on the international with an old minister, with some high-level personality, and I will invite my friends from Novi Sad to come at this moment. I think I said everything I want to say this morning. I'm sorry for the quality of the link. I am in my car. Really, this is not a good day for me. Please avoid Tuesday for your next meetings. Very bad day for me. So I'm really happy to see your faces on my screen. I think I see two of my old friends smiling. So I'm happy to see. And where is Bosco? Where is the president?
Well, hello, Pierre. The Bosco just went out with His Excellencies, but anyway, waves from him as well. It will be nice to see you again face to face. We hope so, and we do work for that. Thanks for the invitation for October. Thanks for your time also, doesn't matter. Well, you know, when we choose the date, we never watch what is it, Thursday or Wednesday or something, just is it free or not for duties. Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the organization of this interesting meeting. And I wish really everybody listening a good health. Be careful, the virus is not gone, so still be careful. If you are not vaccinated, please go to the vaccine. It's the only solution. And looking forward to make a good, prosperous business with my friends from Novi Sad, but also with the other partners I can see on the screen. And sorry for the time today. As I said, it's a very, very bad day. I'm going to, as I said, the funeral of a young boy of 14 years, the son of one of my good friends, very involved in the business also in Valdoise, so it's not a good day. Thank you, everybody. My hello to the people I know and also to the people I don't know, and hope to see you soon, my friends. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Kišli. Thank you for your time. Dragana Kokot, izvolite Dragana i izvinite na ovom malom čekanju.
Dobar dan, nema potrebe izvinjenjima, simpatično bilo slušati kolegu iz Privredne komore Francuske. Veliki pozdrav za organizatore, vidim da je gospodin Vučurević izašao, ali vi ćete mu prenijeti pozdrave naravno, poseban pozdrav naravno gospodinu Stojanovu. Veliko je zadovoljstvo učestvovati u ovoj konferenciji danas, kako je to i fino nazvano, godinu dana poslije. Ja vam upućujem iskrene pozdrave i zahvalnost na pozivu u ime predsjednika Privredne komore Republike Srpske gospodina Đurića i u ime Privredne komore i naravno u svoje lično ime se zahvaljujem. Ja sam prezentaciju pripremila na engleskom jeziku, pa sad sam u dilemi na kojem jeziku da izlažem.
Ok, na engleskom, ok, potpuno je ok.
Može. Evo nadam se da vidite prezentaciju. So I will switch to English language for the colleagues, and I just want to send greetings to the colleagues from other chambers of commerce. It is always great to meet colleagues, but hopefully soon it will be possible live, since we are all, as I can hear, tired of these virtual and online events. We miss definitely events that will be on the spot and then where we can meet each other live. So I will just shortly present some information that you are probably already very familiar with. I just wanted to emphasize that Bosnia and Herzegovina and Republic of Srpska as one entity in Bosnia and Herzegovina is part of course, Western Balkans countries region, and we are now in the phase of potential candidates according to the EU membership. It is important also to mention and not to forget that Western Balkans region is a huge market with great potential and with 18 million consumers. So I think that we should definitely, we started to work on the unique offer of the Western Balkans countries, and we should definitely do that in future and present our potentials and our economy potentials and touristic potentials to the countries outside of the Western Balkan region. These are some facts about the Bosnia and Herzegovina, but I will switch to other, I can of course share this presentation if you are interested, but all informations are also available on this website. This is a very valuable portal for information for investors, and all data is related to Republic of Srpska, starting from population, GDP growth rate, etc. So it's Invest Srpska, and you can find some interesting and important information related to the economy of Republic of Srpska. The key industry sectors are listed here, and the most traditional and most successful one are metal and electrical industry, wood processing industry, and textile, leather, and footwear. We have the biggest tradition in these sectors, but the growing one is ICT, information and communication technology, and with the biggest potential for investments and for the growth. And of course, food processing industry is developed in Republic of Srpska, but there is a lot more space to invest and to get a higher level of industry development in this area. Renewable energies also, we have only 30% of the potential of renewable energy sources in use at the moment. So as I said, it's a huge potential to explore and develop this energy sector. And tourism in Srpska is definitely an explored and open market. I like to say, when we are talking about the tourism in the Republic of Srpska, I like to mention and emphasize that we are the, let's say, only one in Europe that have rainforest, Peručica, in our country. and it is such a great touristic potential, as well as wellness and spa centers that are in developing phase for last years. So we need a lot more investments in infrastructure, but it is already available for visit. So I'm inviting all our colleagues, if they haven't had chance to visit Republic of Srpska, not only for economic reason, but also for tourism, they will be surprised with the beauties of this country. Shortly, about the measures for support to the economy in 2020 and some in 2021. I won't talk about the COVID-19 effects we are already faced with, and we talked a lot. But what helped to the Republic of Srpska economy is the fact that the government, together with the Chamber of Commerce, created measures at the very beginning of the COVID-19 crisis in March last year. So we prepared a financial support in supporting companies with those incentives like the wage, the government paid the minimum wage to the companies for all employees that were banned to work, with the social contributions and taxes. So it was great help for not only for the companies that were banned to work, but also for the companies that decreased their operations due to COVID-19 pandemic. So the financial support continued during the 2020 and also the first quarter of 2021, and especially the support was focused especially for the public transportation companies and tourism companies. We also created a voucher scheme for tourism, and we helped to our touristic spots with the voucher scheme, supporting citizens to visit all our touristic spots and spend some time and money there, and government supported each adult citizen with 50 euros per day for the visiting touristic options in our country. The government also created the guarantee program. The chamber was involved in the creation of the guarantee program, and it is meant for the companies that are taking loans from the banks, and the government is a guarantee for 70%, in some cases for 70% of the loans for the companies. So these measures also gave big effects in 2020, especially in late months of 2020. Also, there are incentives for SMEs, especially for the technology development and digitalization processes. We are very much focused on the digitalization, especially for the private sector, but the government is also working on the formation of e-government services, trying to offer more effective, more efficient and cheaper services, public services to the economy and to the citizens. And the latest activity we are involved in, and the government activities, is the government created a big expert body for administrative procedures analysis with the aim to cut the burdens for the economy and to have more efficient and more cheaper administrative procedures, and to change some laws and regulations to make it more effective and to create it as one-stop shop and e-services in future. So we are a member of the working group, and we are expecting the first action plan for the administrative procedure reforms in November this year. So hopefully it will be finished on time. What the Chamber of Commerce did in last year, trying to offer help to our companies, to our members, we focused a lot on digitalization since we faced that necessity from the March last year. When we switched over the night, we switched to virtual live, virtual meetings, virtual webinars or seminars, virtual B2Bs, virtual fairs. So we respond on that need urgently, but we went step further. So we formed the Center for Digital Transformation within the Chamber of Commerce and support companies in creation of digital strategies for the companies in creating a path for the companies where they should go in these times of crisis and in future to become more digitalized, more effective in their operating processes. In the meantime, we certified 10 consultants, local consultants, but certified within the accreditation body, which is Chamber of Commerce of Austria and their Wi-Fi Center, according to the requests of ISO 20024. So now we have 10 internationally recognized consultants for digital transformation. We are implementing a project aimed for the help for metal sector companies. We will support at least 10 companies in creation of the digital strategies with our 10 consultants, and then we will support them in implementation of some projects defined by the digital strategies. It means software improvements like ERP, CRM, or buying new equipment, automatized, robotized equipment, or a creation of web shops, e-commerce platforms, etc. So till the end of the year, we will implement these projects and we will have some great results. Also, we in the Chamber developed a new e-portal as a kind of a stock of goods and services offered by our companies. We recognized in the COVID crisis that our companies are in a lack of information related to raw materials, to services, since we were blocked as other countries too, or as whole world, blocked in supply chain. So we created e-portal to help our companies to share information among themselves and to try to find partners within the country and to help them go through crisis and the lack of services, lack of employees, lack of raw materials, etc. So it's on the very beginning, and it is of course available for all visitors. And some parts of the portal will be on English, so it will be easier to find some potential partners and goods and services offered by Republic of Srpska economy for foreign partners too. During the last year, we formed also Center for Dual Education and Educational Policies, trying to become intermediary, we are, according to the law on vocational education, we are intermediary in the dual system of education, where we are educating mentors, persons in companies that are supposed to work with the students on the practical lessons on the practice in the companies. So it's also something very new that we are working on from the last year. And from 2018, we have a special center for education of adults. And in this very moment, we are creating a program for waiters to help restaurants and hotels to gain qualified workforce for their needs. So we are creating a program for education of waiters. It's a program for adults, and they are gaining publicly recognized certificate and occupation after they finished the program within our center. We are always very active, a member of Enterprise Europe Network Community and Women Entrepreneurship Group within the EEN. And now the latest news from the EEN, we formed a portal, the whole EEN internationally, created a portal where all informations related to access to finance are available. So I'm inviting you to check the EEN social media and website and to check the new portal, new informations related to access to finance. Also, what is the new? We are involved in the creation of new strategy for tourism development, supported by the USAID. USAID is working in whole Bosnia and Herzegovina in this area, so there are a lot of activities trying to help touristic sector to overcome the crisis, and we are respecting also a good season in Republic of Srpska, since the last year was actually good, having dear guests from the countries around our country, especially from Serbia, but also from Croatia and Montenegro, and it helped to our touristic sector from that side. I was talking about the virtual fairs and B2Bs and webinars, so I won't waste your and my time on this issue. I just shortly presented the foreign trade figures. As you can see, the red lights are the highest foreign trade exchange. The column on the left is export, showed in our currency. And you can see the situation with the Serbia also, showing the first 4 months of last year and first 4 months this year. The numbers are increasing, which is good. So it shows that the economy is recovering and that our foreign trade exchange is recovering too. Specifically for foreign trade balance between Republic of Srpska and Serbia is shown on this slide, but I would bother you with the figures. And I just wanted to say at the end of, that is the end of the presentation, that we are happy that according to the statistical data, our industrial production is recovering, and it is higher in first 4 months, actually 3 months of this year, comparing to the first 3 months of the last year. It is higher for 10.4%. And also export and import are increasing, the numbers are getting better. But what is the problem for that our companies, and I believe companies from your countries, is facing the lot higher prices of the raw material from abroad. As far as we know, communicating with our companies, they are facing really big challenge related to the higher prices on the global level. So it is affecting production and processing industry a lot now. So I think that there is a space for the cooperation between our countries, a bigger cooperation, higher cooperation, trying to help each other maybe in overcoming this situation with the prices on the global level. And good news are the result. We conducted a survey in the Republic of Srpska related to employment and unemployment, and there were some 957 companies surveyed, and only one sentence I would say what is good to hear, that in 2021, 48.9%, almost half of the surveyed companies are planning to employ more workers in 2021, and the reasons are mostly the increase of the business volume, increase of the business operations. So we can expect and hope that the economy will recover in 2021. And of course, the immunization process started, and we have a great help from Serbia in that sense. Our citizens are able to be vaccinated in the Serbia, which is great, but it started also in our country. And I have to say that we should definitely use the economic and investment plan for the Western Balkans and options that this plan is offering, and I will finish with the sentence that I started. We should definitely offer Western Balkans region economy as a unique economy, and should present ourselves as such to the EU and on the global level too. I hope I didn't took a lot of time from you and that you could hear me without interruptions. Once again, thank you very much for the invitation, and hope to communicate soon also, but during this panel too, I'm available for all your questions. Thank you very much.
Hvala Dragana na ovoj prezentaciji, na svim ovim informacijama. A kada smo poslednji put pričali i videli se na online konferenciji sa predstavnicima Grčko-srpske privredne komore, razgovarali smo uglavnom o turizmu i o tome koliko je štete pandemija nanela grčkom turizmu. Sada se definitivno stvari menjaju, granice se otvaraju. Kakva je situacija sada u Grčkoj u smislu oporavka privrede? Pitamo predsjednika Grčko-srpske privredne komore, Kostas Georgakos, predsjednik Grčko-srpske privredne komore. Dobar dan.
Dobar dan svima. Dobar dan iz Grčke, iz Tesaloniki. Želim da vam zahvaljujem na pozivu i posebno da zahvaljujem gospodin Vučićević i gospodin Stojanov. Također želim da pozdravite jako puno Novi Sad.
Hvala.
Situacija. Za nas je veliki radost da je Srbija bila prva zemlja koja Grčka dala dozvolu da može da uđe u Grčku. I mi smo priznali i sve vakcine i tako mislim da Srbi mogu da uđe u Grčku ili oni koji su vakcinirani ili oni koji imaju PCR test. Kako mi čujemo, do sada ne postoji nikakav problem. Oni koji dolaze su zadovoljni i ja mislim da je od posle 15. 20. juna bit će vreme da dolaze više Srbi i kako sam čitao i pre 2 dana iz Bosne i Hercegovine. Ne znam ako imate neko još pitanju o tome, o turizmu.
O turizmu je to. Kakva je situacija što se tiče oporavka ostatka privrede? Prošli put smo čuli da nije bilo krize naravno samo u turizmu, nego i u ostalim granama privrede. Kakva je situacija danas, godinu dana kasnije?
Da, godinu danas možemo da kažemo da je situacija od jednu stranu je bolje i postoji nada, ali od drugu stranu, kad 1,5 godine firme nisu radili, prošle godine nije bilo uopšte turizam i tako dalje, razumete da je teška. To koji do sada jako važno je da sve firme primi pare od država i tako može da stoji na nogama. Ja mislim da ako ne bi bilo to, onda jako puno firme, najviše firme, onda bi bile zatvorene. Zato što mi smo bili na lockdown od novembra meseca do nekoliko dana, do skoro 1. maj. Razumete da je, kada je takva situacija, onda je jako teško da može firme da ostane u nogama i da imaju neki profit. Sada, svi očekuje da ovaj leto će biti bolje od prošle godine i to smo sigurni da će biti, zato što već su krenuli polako neki turiste da dolaze u Grčkoj. Važno je da nemamo puno sa COVID-om u Grčkoj. Dosta miliona, oko 1,5 milione do 2 su vakcinisani u Grčkoj. Mislim da je polako prođemo ovaj tunel i vidimo sunce i sve će biti bolje i bolje. To mislimo mi, to verujemo i to nadamo i ne samo mi, i ostale firme. To otprilike od situacija ovde.
Hvala gospodine. Hvala gospodine Georgakos. Na kraju ovih izlaganja, odnosno na kraju vašeg izlaganja, zamolila bih kolegu Milana Stojanova da nam da zaključno obraćanje. Izvolite.
Hvala puno, Kostas. Hvala svima, naravno, na učešću. Ja ću pre nego što dam kolegi Zoranu Trpovskog da on sve ovo vreme ovde pažljivo sluša, beleži, komparira sa svojim analizama, daće nam neko svoje viđenje. Malo ću i da pređem na engleski, nećete zameriti. Oh, dear colleague, dear Eva, dear Natalie, dear Dragana, dear Pierre, and Kostas, of course, thanks a lot for your effort, for saving on time for our conference. It was, of course, pleasure to be together. And I hope that quite soon we will be able to organize, as Natalie said, in October, maybe even before in Szeged, in Banja Luka, of course, in Thessaloniki as well. I think that Kostas announced he's coming to Novi Sad quite soon. I just wanted to say that quite soon we will be able to see each other face to face. But I must admit that we should take some benefit from the crisis, and we will have some chat about that in the first part of our conference. In our future, probably hybrid or combined events will be definitely something that we have to face with. Thanks a lot once more, and I would like Mr. Zoran Trpovski to give us some overview on our today's whole event.
Thank you, Milan. Dear colleagues, I was listening very carefully, and I would like to say just a few words. First of all, everything is changing after the pandemic, and we are still in pandemic. To be honest, I'm always starting now my day with the Financial Times, but not to look some financial data, but to look the data about vaccination in the whole world. And I am pleased that we are in a region and in whole Europe and also in other countries increasing the number of vaccinating people. And to be honest, I'm really impressed with the results of Hungary. I have to say that Hungary did amazing thing, speaking about vaccination. What I see in the Financial Times, that they already had almost 9 million doses used in the whole country, and knowing that they started, for instance, around 2 months after us, it's really amazing what they did, and I'm really pleased to see it. In Serbia, we had something like almost 30% of people fully vaccinated. We would like to have it more, and we hope it will be more. And it is important that in the European Union and in neighboring countries, things are going better and better, and we hope that it will be some kind of collective protection against that dangerous disease. Speaking about economy, I completely agree with Dragana that this crisis will push us to find partners closer to us, because it's what we heard from our members, that they really have a lot of problems, not just with the prices of logistic, prices of transport and everything, but also with the terms. Sometimes people told me that they even they can't estimate the day when they will receive something which they ordered. Sometimes it's 3-4 months, or even without any plans what will happen in the future. It means maybe it will push us to try to help each other, to find partners in some closer countries, which is, I think, good for the regional cooperation, definitely. Maybe just few topics about what is going on in Vojvodina. It's already said, our president already said something. We can say that our foreign trade is recovering very good. In comparison with the first 4 months last year, we had increase of almost 20%. Which means that foreign cooperation, and maybe small part of that is because of us, because we were trying to help with that regional cooperation. Maybe it is also some part of that results are also because of us. But generally speaking, in Vojvodina, we can say that, like in the rest of the country, it's the investment activities are continuing, and we will be in Novi Sad especially very glad with some high technology investments like Continental, and also we are very glad that from Belgrade to Novi Sad at the beginning of next year. We will have the first, if you can say fast train, 200 kilometers fast train from Belgrade to Novi Sad will be in February, what we are expecting, and it will be something like half an hour traveling from our capital to capital of our province. And I think it's very nice to have it as the sign that infrastructure and the connection of people is very, very important, and we will be the example of that. Speaking about Association of Industry, which I am responsible for just to say that we are trying to change the structure of our sector association. For instance, in the sector of energetic, we will trying to be more open to clean energy, to renewable energy. It will, and also we will together with the Vojvodina Metal Cluster and provincial government trying to make some kind of survey about metal industry in Vojvodina. And just also it's important to say that we will be more open to that circular economy, if I can say, and we will later this month have some kind of conference about waste treatment in Vojvodina, especially communal waste, to see how it's going on. We have very good regulation, but to be honest, in practice, it doesn't go always so good, and it's good to have something like a survey about what is going in that topic in our province. That is in short, what I would like to say, and I would like, of course, to greet you again on behalf of my association and also the Association of Agriculture and Services, which my colleagues are responsible for. And I hope we will see each other very soon in physical way, because it's very nice, all those platforms, but to be honest, it is enough of them. We would like to have more normal meetings, and I hope it will be soon. All the best, take care, and that's all. Thank you.
Hvala Zorane, hvala Milane, poštovani učesnici i poštovani gledalci putem YouTube-a, hvala što ste pratili ovaj događaj. Naravno, u ime Privredne komore Vojvodine i kompanije Color Media Communication, ja vam želim svima dobro zdravlje i naravno da zajedničkim radom u nastavku utičemo na kreiranje što boljeg privrednog ambijenta. Hvala.